So, in my case, Android 14 with One UI 6.1, as I got a Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. I kind of got used with it. I gave up on the layout I had before and chose the homepage plus an additional page for apps and then the menu. The homepage contains the apps that I use the most and the menu helps me find anything else I need. For other quick access stuff, I'm using the sidebar as a replacement for the swipe down to search function that I had on the iPhone. I have to say, I appreciate the swipe down for notifications and control center. I complained about it, but eventually I got to realize that iOS and Samsung One UI have two different approaches and I respect both. What about the Android's main advantage, the customization? Well, indeed, you can do much more stuff here, like changing the icon size, changing the layout to have either only apps screen or home and app screen. If you don't like the free classic Android buttons, that's fine. You have gestures here and they work as good, if not even better than the iPhone ones, especially the back gesture from the right side. Very nice, even though sometimes I just want to swipe left, but it happens. Also, you got the Themes app, which has a lot of interesting and odd options, both free and not free. However, there's only one thing that would have made this the perfect customization experience, something which the iPhone has and I absolutely loved it, the multiple lock screens. And I'm not talking about the wallpapers here, the entire lock screen. On the iPhone, you can have 2, 3, 5, 10 different lock screens if you want, with different configurations and widgets, along with different wallpapers for the apps pages. Here on Android, you can have multiple wallpapers. And I didn't manage to find any tutorial or anything for this. Maybe you guys have an idea. And no, I don't want to hear about launchers for now. I didn't try any because despite the lack of multiple lock screens, I like what I got. It is fine. I'll do some testing with the launchers as well. One thing that I really appreciate on pretty much every Android, especially this Samsung, is the photo app, and mainly the freedom to control pretty much every aspect of it, from shooting simple photos on the auto mode to shooting raw photos at high resolution while choosing the settings on your own. And if I want to import everything to my computer, it is quite easy, and there is actually more to it. Now, I have a Mac Mini, and if I simply connect my Samsung to it, nothing special happens. I have to use a third-party app, in my case MacDroid, to create an image of the phone and then access it. Pretty stupid if you ask me, but Apple will always Apple. But if you connect it to a Windows machine, for example, it acts like an external SSD and you have access to pretty much everything. And it is the same for the Mac, but after using MacDroid. And yes, maybe you got AirDrop on the iPhone, but that only works with other Apple devices, and Android is universal and honestly easy to use. So yeah, site loading wasn't really an issue before. I'm in the EU and now you can make it on the iPhone as well. To be honest, I barely need it. But I want to try custom ROMs on cheaper phones and I want to try and see if that will improve their performance. This is something that I really like. I also want to mention Google's best tool ever, Circle to Search. And I did not realize how much I needed this, considering that Google Lens is pretty good and I could use it on the iPhone as well. But Circle to Search is so much easier and better. As for the other Google and Samsung AI tools, I don't use them. I do not really need them, at least for now. Let's talk about the overall experience now. The interface works great, flawless and snappy, beautiful. And here is a big difference between Android and iOS. The iPhone interface has some very interesting transitions implemented. Every time you go back, swipe to change the app, swipe to get to the control center or to the notifications, you sort of do it in slow motion, let's say. There are two reasons for that. One, to hide any lag that might appear. Two, a somehow aesthetically pleasing experience, I guess. Whereas on Android, it wants to show you how fast it is. It doesn't really care if it might lag a bit sometimes. It wants to be quick between menus and apps, control center, task manager, you name it. Again, two different approaches and both are good in their way. As for me, I like the speed and this phone makes sure to remind me how fast it is. Speaking of which, how fast? Well, considering its power, too fast sometimes, and there is a problem. Probably Android's biggest problem, if you ask me. the apps optimization. I said it before and I'll say it again, this is what I miss the most from the iPhone. I have a 1000 euros phone which sometimes performs the same as a Galaxy A14 because the apps need improvement. Like Twitter, I scroll down and suddenly the new posts widget pops up. I ignore it and keep scrolling, but at some point I can't scroll anymore. I have to press that widget and go back to the top to see the new posts. Or the bookmarks count, which they couldn't fit next to the other free stats and now occupies a whole row for nothing. Facebook, a lot of times the comments rows are simply cut at the end and the letters are incomplete. Or see this bug that I got yesterday with the Messenger app. As a side note, I missed the bubble. A lot of the bugs that I encountered were mostly visual, and I'm not saying apps on iOS are perfect, but they're simply much better optimized. All in all though, I guess that Google and companies have put a lot of effort into making Android stable and nice in the first place, and maybe they will work together with the developers in the future. Again, I know how hard it is to optimize apps for such a long list of models, but at least make them better for the flagships, considering their outrageous prices. Then use the know-how and implement it downwards the scale in time. That's pretty much everything on the Android side. Overall, I like it. Obviously, iOS is very good as well, and I do miss some stuff from there, but I do not regret it. I actually like my phone more and more every single day. I want to redirect the discussion to the phone itself because I need and want to make an update for it as well. It's been 3 months since I made the switch from my old and loyal iPhone 13 to this Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. I know that the S25 Ultra has been launched and its capabilities are awesome, but I do not own one. Maybe I'll get my hands on it at some point to test it and make a review. However, I believe that the S24 Ultra will still be a solid option for a lot of you guys. As I said in the switching to Android video, I believe that this phone simply looks amazing. I'm still in love with the design, and at first I bought a case for it. It was good for protection, but the feeling and the practicality were bad, like very bad. For the record, it is the official silicone case from Samsung, and I do not recommend it at all. Very adherent and hard to take out from or put in the pocket. This was very annoying. I decided to take it off until I find another case that I like, and without the case, it is pretty slippery. Nothing too bad though. However, it is big and quite easy to drop. I've done it a few times already, including dropping it on the screen directly. I was lucky enough to only put a small dent on one of the corners, but I need to be careful. Sometimes I feel it is a bit hard to maneuver with only one hand, but this is the price you pay for a 6.8 inch screen. Overall though, I love the feeling, the small camera crease, as well as all the buttons on one side. I didn't know it would be that convenient really. Last time when I spoke about this phone, I kind of complained about the screen colors, saying that they're not as warm and vibrant compared to my iPhone. I don't really have this problem anymore, not because I found a way to make it warmer, but because I got used with them really. And the screen quality is top notch anyway. I tried to change a few settings here and there, but not a lot happened. I kept the refresh rate adaptive and the resolution set to full HD+. I had a few people telling me that Quad HD is better, and I sort of agree with them, but it is simply not worth considering the battery drain. We'll get there in a second. Camera-wise, it is awesome. Let me show you some shots that I believe deserve a mention. Colors are very good, and even if there is a lot of processing going on, you don't really feel it a lot of times. I have to be honest, photos do not really feel like proper DSLR or mirrorless shots in some scenarios, but the quality is insane overall. The night mode is very efficient, it improves the lighting and makes everything clear. Just look at this shot that I got on my balcony with light only coming from the outside street lights. This is without night mode. This is with night mode on. And they are shot using the Instagram camera app. I've also used it to film quite a lot, and you will see more of it on this channel, as in the appropriate scenarios is way more efficient than any mirrorless setups. Hardware-wise, I have a small mention here. a weird thing about a lot of Samsung phones, and I remember that my Galaxy S6 had the same, well, issue, not really an issue, but whatever. Shake the phone and you will hear parts moving in the camera's area. Do not get me wrong, it is normal, nothing bad will happen. It's just odd, and I know it can be fixed. When it comes to the battery, it is okay. Considering that it is a new phone, I would have loved to see a better autonomy. Believe it or not, I never got to the end of the day with it. Yes, I use it a lot and do a lot of heavy stuff, but it doesn't really deal well with some apps or games. For example, 5 minutes into a Facebook Messenger video call and your hand is sweating a lot because the phone is like a fry pan ready to cook an entire steak. I mean, what's the deal with this app? Oh yeah, badly optimized, and I believe that it has some issues on the iPhone as well, but in the Samsung case, it was draining the battery in a very bad manner. However, if you charge it with 30 or 45 watts, you'll be able to pump up the battery level fast enough. In my case, I'm working in an office full of power outlets, so I can live with it. As for the power and performance, as expected. No app or game can make this Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 get tired. It's a monster, and I haven't encountered any big issues so far. Nice and cool most of the time. I need to mention something, and maybe you guys can tell me if it happened to you or not. I get some issues with internet sometimes. The signal bar shows 5G with good strength, but it doesn't work for some time in any app whatsoever. It stays like that for about 5 seconds, so I don't even have time to troubleshoot it. And what's weird about it, before unlocking it, notifications from apps like WhatsApp or Facebook were coming in. Excepting something from a few days ago, it did not work for about an hour, regardless the signal. And I didn't realize at first, but at some point it felt odd that I was not receiving any notifications. Not that I'm the most search person, but you know those annoying notifications from apps like Bank or X or spam emails? They were also missing. And guess what? I unlocked the phone to check. I could access internet, and 10 seconds later, 20 notifications coming at the same time. I was like, what in the world is going on here? Maybe you guys found the solution or at least the root cause for this. If you have, please let me know. I think that pretty much sums it up. Overall, I'm happy with this phone. I don't regret getting it, even though sometimes I'm still thinking about that Honor. But the S24 Ultra is a solid choice if you're looking for a last gen flagship. It will not disappoint you. I want to hear your opinions on this subject. If you are using Android, what's the thing that you like the most about it? Same question goes to you, the iPhone users. I'm waiting for your answers and feedback down below in the comment section. That's it for this video. I hope you liked it and found it useful. If yes, a subscribe would be amazing. I'll see you guys next week. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.